on a very wintry, snowy day. I'm joined by our old friend, Mr. Harry Gurney, who looks like he's dressed for the weather. Harry, welcome along to 98 Day Out.
Hello, mate. Thanks for having me. Nice to see you.
You keeping in the warm and the dry with all this snow about?
I am. Yeah, I stuck my cricket jumper on this morning, as you can see. I'm currently, somewhat unprofessionally sat on my bed rather than in an office or in the studio, as you quite clearly are.
First thing I've got to ask you is, how's your shoulder? I know it's been troubling you.
Yeah, shoulder's fine. I had surgery. I'm almost 5 months post-surgery now, actually. 16th of September, I went under the knife. A few different bits and bobs, but the main thing was repairing a torn rotator cuff. So the first sort of month, 6 weeks was just a case of building it up sort of slowly, and then some fairly intensive treatment, and then the month since, just lots of rehab, lots of work with the TheraBand, and I'm now finally at a point where I think I'm going to start. I've been doing walkthroughs, and I'm going to start to really build up the bowling now after half term. We have like a half term break at Notts, and we've got a tent, I believe, all being well, at the end of February on our training ground, at Lady Bay. So sort of from early March onwards, really start to ramp up that bowling, ready for, fortunately for me, not my first competitive games, not till June the 9th. So no championship for me. So I've got plenty of time, and I can have a nice long build up and spend that time working on a couple of bits, and hopefully come back maybe even a better bowler than I was pre-surgery.
Is that possible?
I don't know whether. I mean, it's who knows? I mean, it might be that the shoulder had been giving me some jip for the last 18 months. I'd been in pain playing through it, so it might be. It's certainly possible to be a better bowler than I was. That does go without saying, but yeah, it might be. I might find that actually I get a bit of zip back, because I'll hopefully be bowling pain free for the first time in a while.
Yeah, and so far so good. The pain's sort of behaving itself.
Yes, so far it's far better than it ever was, that it had been for, as I say, the last sort of 18 months. Day to day, it got to the stage really where day to day it was causing me a fair bit of pain. Excuse me. Putting my jumper on, or reaching behind me in the car to my son in his car seat or whatever, that kind of stuff was painful. And I remember the quarterfinal, semi-final, and final of the Caribbean Premier League, which was August 2019, probably. No, September, October 2019. Just the worst pain I can ever remember being in, particularly in the warm up and for my first sort of few balls of the game. It tended to ease off a little bit, but it was pretty horrible. And I'd had, I think, 5 or 6 cortisone jabs. So it just got to the point, I think, where the surgeon just said, "Look, enough's enough. You're running the gauntlet here, and it's time to do it." So made that decision. And if I'd had a crystal ball, I'd have done it in this time last year, wouldn't I? But I didn't, and I didn't do it till September. And so here we are. I've missed pretty much all of 2020, and I'm not in the IPL auction because I'm not going to be fit in time, and so that leaves me really with the next competition being the Blast, which is cool. It's giving me time to focus on my business, and like I say, get that, make sure that shoulder is completely right before I get back to playing again.
I was going to say, was lockdown a good time to be injured? But I mean, yeah, as you touched on, I mean, there's other stuff which you're obviously well known for what you're doing at Notts, but your franchise exploits have been quite incredible the last few years. So I guess that must have had some kind of cost to you personally.
Yeah, I think to be blunt, probably about 300,000 US. I mean, possibly, when you include PSL's about to start now, another big bash has now been and gone, and then I'm going to miss another IPL, potentially more. But in terms of actual contracts that I actually had in place, 300,000 US. So that's to put it bluntly and put a number on it, which is obviously financially fairly painful, but it's given me a chance to spend a lot of time with my family. I've got a 3-year-old, as I say, and a little one on the way as well. And it's really given me time to get stuck into my business, which I'm as passionate about as I am my cricket. So in that regard, it's been a bit of a blessing. And I think actually I'll always look back on the year 2020 with sort of a perverse fondness, to be honest, because as I say, lots of family time and really, really got stuck into the business and sort of turned it around, to be honest, because for the previous 3 years, with Brody and I just being on the road constantly, it probably didn't get the attention it deserved or needed. Yeah. So I was able to do that. And also from a franchise perspective, I think chatting to the guys that have done it for the last few months, it's the whole quarantine thing is making life a little bit trickier and a little bit less enjoyable. So I guess if I had to pick a winter to miss, perhaps this one was the one.
Yeah, I saw you on social media down on Sunday helping with the was it the sort of the takeaway delivery Sunday lunch service that you were doing at one of the pubs, and it looked, you looked a busy team. There was a lot going on down there.
Yeah, I mean, we decided to launch a Sunday roast. I mean, we've just been, ever since the job retention scheme started, we've just furloughed everyone, and we've got 2 pubs, but the bigger one, the one that I've sent those videos from, we own that building, so there's no rent, there's no rates. Everyone's been furloughed. It's been sort of reasonably, it's cost us a few quid being closed, of course it has, but it was sort of the low risk option, really, just furloughing everyone and mothballing it. But we just got sick of not trading, to be frank, so we just we've launched this Sunday roast takeaway, and this Sunday just gone was our first one, and we were up to, I think, 130 roasts with a week to go, so we capped it because we were nervous about cocking it up, and we said we'll use that as a sort of trial run.
Yeah,
it went really smoothly. So for this weekend, we've already got 180 booked for Sunday, so we'll be north of 200, which is fantastic, really, and it's testament really to how the team at the Tap and Run, how well loved they are in the sort of local area, and how what a great place they've made, because as soon as we announced, it's just filled up almost overnight.
And I think there's some sort of light at the end of the tunnel for the hospitality industry, because in the last few days I've been reading in the press about the possibility of pubs starting to reopen in some way, shape or form. I mean, it wasn't too bad last time when they had the kind of limited opening, but fingers crossed it won't be too much longer of this complete lockdown, and you should be pulling pints again.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, if you read the press, I think there's a bit of chatter about May, isn't there? I'm an optimist. I'm at the moment expecting to trade in April at some point in some capacity, but we'll see. I mean, it depends what, there's no point letting us open with our hands tied behind our backs either by, single household and tier 17, because, you might as well be closed at takeaways, to be honest. So we shall see. But as I say, I'm an optimist. I think with the rollout of the vaccine, with the warmer weather coming, hopefully sort of in March time or slightly warmer, hopefully the picture starts to clear up a little bit nationally in terms of COVID, and we can get open and get trading safely for the summer months, and hopefully by the autumn, when I guess traditionally your flu season picks up again, hopefully most people are vaccinated, and any new strains we've got new vaccines in the pipeline for as well. So fingers crossed, sort of Easter onwards, we get back to sort of a level of relative normality.
Yeah, let's keep it optimistic, and that should time nicely, as you mentioned, with the return of the Blast and Notts Outlaws reigning champions.
Yeah, so I missed obviously the whole season last year, so I wasn't in that winning team, so it was a bit bittersweet watching that final. Really, I was gutted I wasn't out there, but obviously delighted for Notts and for the team. I think we've had a strong T20 team for a long time now, so yeah, great to see that trophy lifted again. And I mean, we have got, it's an exciting squad to be a part of, and there's no reason why we can't go all the way again this year.
And Peter Moore's in charge. He loves a county title of one shape or another, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's a high class coach, is Pete. He's one of the best around. He's just he gets it, and he's across everything. He gets all the thousands of little things right, and he's got an infectious enthusiasm around the group. So if you walk in one morning and you're a bit knackered, and you bowled a few overs the day before or whatever, he's just got this knack of picking you up and motivating you for the game. So
does he play a bit of Van Morrison to get you going?
Yeah, bit of Van. and a glass of wine on his decking at his house after a good win as well. So he's a good man, Pete, and I think his CV shows that.
Yeah, he was. We had him on the show a few weeks back, and yeah, he was top quality, and lots of stories, as you can imagine, and yeah, he was good fun with it. So I can understand, and I can see how that feeds through if you're playing under him, how that it can be infectious. It really can.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I was really chuffed for Pete actually as well that the boys managed to win that trophy, because there's been sort of 2 or 3 years of struggles with the red ball, and I think there was a lot of chatter going on across social media and among the members, and I guess to an extent, if you put yourself in their shoes, understandable. But actually, what that trophy win did is just remind everyone what a great coach he is.
Yeah.
Hopefully, take some pressure off, and actually, the red ball unit, it looks like it's building. It's been a young team for a couple of years, but there's some experience building in there now, and there's some really talented cricketers. So don't be surprised if you see Notts really starting to push on in that format over the next couple of years either, to be honest.
Yeah, no, I think we saw that last year with some of the youth that was coming through, and yeah, you're right that probably some of those guys take a year or two, but then it starts to gel, and then you start to see the results. So yeah, maybe they'll be as good as Essex with the red ball at some stage.
Maybe. I mean, to be fair, they've been really good, haven't they? Essex last couple of years. I mean, you can't argue with it. One hell of a team, across the formats, to be honest. But it's great to see. I really like the Essex boys, actually.
Yeah.
They're a great bunch. They're good fun. They're good value. They seem to enjoy each other's company, and yeah, it's always a team that we sort of enjoy playing against.
I think that's important. I think, and sort of bringing it back up to the moment, I think we're seeing that with the England team at the moment as well. They seem to be a really good bunch of mates that playing with each other and supporting each other, and as a real sort of unit on and off the field, I think.
Yeah, that is just so incredibly important. I think, the history of sport is littered with incredibly talented teams that have underachieved or not performed, and I would put that down to not playing as a team. You can, and this is why you see underdogs win stuff and win trophies, because they gel as a team, and that's really hard to stop once you get that great culture in the changing room and a really happy environment where everyone's enjoying each other's success genuinely and loves turning up to play every day. You can take what might on paper be a less experienced, less strong team, actually well above and onto. I mean, the example for me is Leicestershire 2011 when we won the Blast. I don't think anyone really at the start of that season would have given us a prayer, but there was a group of us who were all mates, and 2 or 3 senior pros came in, people like Andrew MacDonald, and we just started to gel, and we just had a great time, and we celebrated the wins, and we were all mates. We'd all grown up playing together, a bit like the Essex group now. Yeah, it takes you a long way. It really does.
Excellent. Well, I know you're pushed for time, so I'm going to thank you for joining us, Harry, and hopefully we can be back up at Trent Bridge with a full house on a T20 night, and I might even put a Notts shirt on if you're playing, and pretend that.
Even for playing Essex?
Yeah. Well, maybe I'll get one of those half and half shirts.
just come if we play Surrey or something like that.
Yeah. But I look forward to seeing you back on the pitch, and good luck with everything, and hopefully the pubs will be at full speed as well around about the same time. So good luck with everything, and thank you so much for joining us, Harry Gurney.
Pleasure, mate.